Good evening. Andy here, week 2. Looks like I'm going to keep this going at least for another week. I just got back from a walk. Super tired. Glasses are on when I get really tired. And I've been up since 6:30 this morning, worked all day. And I was able to get a little bit of cardio in there at the end. Basically, what my cardio is just a 30-minute walk 3 times a week. But it's not just a stroll. It's kind of like a power walk. You're moving. It's quick to where you're getting a sweat and you're working your muscles on your legs, but not quick enough to where you can't hold a conversation. So it's something that you can go do with a friend. It's a beautiful night tonight here in Arizona. The moon, looks like it's kind of like a full moon, and there's some clouds, kind of like scales. The way the clouds are, they're kind of scaled out, and they're kind of passing through the moon. So the night sky is kind of like a dark blue somehow. Pretty awesome. Anyways, today I want to talk about week 2, specifically eating. Gym-wise, great. Monday was great. Wednesday was great. Friday kicks my ass, like every Friday does, but it was great. But eating is so hard, and I mentioned this in the first video, I believe. Basically, this week, I ate well every single day, except Thursday. And Thursday was super good until dinner. I go to a church group and have a lot of friends there, and we decided to go out to a bar. It was too crowded, so we went to this place, Dave & Buster's. I'm sure you've heard of it before. If you haven't, it's a game, kind of like a game zone that serves like American traditional food, like burgers and stuff. That menu is calorie intensive, let me tell you. And I had this chicken sandwich that I believed was like 1,000 calories, maybe like 1,100. Anyways, ended up being 1,430 calories. Also add in the fries, which is about another 800 calories. And I was sitting at negative 1,000 calories for a day, which is horrible. It's just a total grenade, boom, just total destroying my day. And so yesterday on Friday, I made sure I was very protein intensive and carbs. It was a 40-40-20 day for carbs, protein at 40, and then fat at a 20. Because I had so much fat with that. It was 96% fat that day. It was bad. And I like to deep think about everything, especially how can I learn from things. And it's kind of funny when you eat, you have to pay attention to what you're eating. Like it's not a joke. Like I think you can take that saying for granted. I know I did. You really do have to pay attention to what you eat if you're trying to get somewhere or be somewhere in your life, especially early on, like in my circumstances. Today is a great example. This morning, every Saturday or Sunday morning, one of my coworkers, she'll bring in Krispy Kreme donuts, and I love Krispy Kreme. And I had to resist at all costs because I was thinking, well, maybe I can get away with one. And I was about to grab one, but I was like, punched it into my FitnessPal, and it's 400 calories. It's like, ouch, or 200, something like that. But it's all fat. It's fat. And fat, the reason why fat's not a bad thing, okay? But there's good types of fat and there's bad types of fat, and donuts are a bad type of fat. The problem with fat is for every gram of fat, it's like 9 calories. So for carbs and proteins, every gram of carbs and protein is 4 calories. So think about that. Fat is almost double the amount of calories. So when you eat fatty foods, you're taking in a ton more calories, which is limiting the rest you can have for the day. So I held off on the donuts. Ate a good breakfast, ate a good lunch, and my macros were looking great. And then I go out on a project with one of my designers, and she really wanted pancakes. So we stopped and we got some pancakes and sausage and bacon and eggs. And I think if I would have eaten the entire thing, I would have screwed my day over again. 2 out of 3 days done. But instead, I just ate the pancakes. Carb intensive, didn't kill my macros. My macros are still pretty darn close to what they should be. I need like a couple more grams of fat and a couple more grams of protein, maybe a couple grams less of carbs, and then I'd be straight. But came home, made dinner with the rest. I had like 600 calories left. My dinner is about 500. Had a small treat to reward myself for a good day, and I'm down to about 100 calories, something like that. And I'm good for the day. I don't need to eat. But as you can tell maybe in this video is I'm all over. It's hard not to be all over the place. And so this kind of video is just about eating. It's about staying the course. And obviously you don't want to be eating chicken, broccoli, and rice every single freaking meal. I mean, you're going to hate yourself. And what I've learned is to kind of take like the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is basically 80% of the time you're eating good, and then 20% of the time you're eating whatever you want. There's 2 ways you could do it. You could do it weekly or you could do it daily. Weekly, that means every day of the week you eat good except for one day. One day you just whatever you want to do. And then daily is you eat what you want, eat everything that you need to eat for the most part, but you reward yourself like a treat. I haven't figured out which I want to do yet. One thing that is helpful is plugging in, like planning out your meals the day of or the day before, and just plugging it all in at once. That way you have like almost like a schedule of what you're eating. It makes it super helpful because you can see how many calories you left over. That way if somebody brings in a couple chips or, like a little drink or something, or maybe you go out to have a beer with your friends, it's not a big deal. You have some room left over. Whereas if you're kind of doing it one meal at a time, you really can't control, because you're going to end up at a spot and there's like this big juicy burger in front of you that's like 1,200 calories and you only have like 900 left in the day and you're screwed. So anyways, another thing I started doing this week is what I mentioned at the beginning, is the cardio. I'm trying to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. It's body recomposition. So to do that, I learned this week that you need to I work out 4.5 hours a week as I'm a beginner. So I only need to do cardio like a third of that time. So an hour and a half throughout the week. So that's 3 days, 30 minutes. So far so good. I've done it twice. I just started this week. I just learned about it this week, so I'm implementing it. And then the second thing that I'm implementing is a carb-heavy breakfast. The reason for this is I always do my weightlifting in the mornings. And just, works out with my schedule and whatnot. But I like doing my weightlifting in the mornings because I'm way too tired at night. As you can tell, I am exhausted. I'm going to bed right after I upload this. And so I've been eating a huge bowl of multigrain Cheerios before my workouts, and the whole reason is it's called the pump. If you don't know what the pump is, I just figured this out. I've been lifting weights for a few months now, and I just figured this out. It's a little embarrassing, but hey, you gotta learn at some point. The pump is basically when you're when you're lifting your weights. What happens is your heart will send blood to the muscle that's being worked. And what it does is it puffs up that muscle. It's like you have like you're inflating it with air and it gets bigger, right? And it tightens, the skin tightens, and it's a tight feeling. It's a very unique feeling. And if you look up on YouTube, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he talks about it. But it's a really good feeling. Like, I now understand why people like to go to the gym, because when you get the pump, you feel it's one of the best feelings in the world. And Arnold Schwarzenegger compares it to sex. Like, no joke, it's that good of a feeling. Now, is it as good as sex? No, it's definitely not. Like, sex is the best feeling in the world. But this, it feels great. And the key, though, is what you're eating beforehand to get a good pump. And so you have to eat a carb-intensive. Now, not just any carbs. You're not just shoving in junk food carbs. You're shoving in, like, complex carbs. So multigrains, whole wheat grains, oats. There's some others. There's fruits that you can put in there. But if you get a carb intensive meal before, and then you wait like a half hour, 45 minutes, and you go work out, those carbs are helping, it's your energy, and it just all works out scientifically to where you get a good pump, you feel great, and the rest of the day is smooth. So those are the few things that I've learned this week, coupled with my eating, a little bit longer video than I wanted to do. It's 10 minutes, but there's a lot to cover this week. I learned a lot through experiences, reading and watching YouTube videos, and here I am keeping accountable to myself. Week 2. Anybody that watches it, I appreciate you for watching. Any feedback is welcome. I'm still working on the meal planning. I'm getting better. I'm actually planning out the day, but there's going to be a day where I need to just make all my meals and just make life easier. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Until next time.